How were you?
Welcome to our continuing series about games to watch in 2024. My name's Matt Hewson, and this episode's looking at RPGs. Which RPGs are we going to be spending all our time in 2024? Hang with us and find out.
Breeze.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. What was once a niche series in the West is now a major force in the gaming world, and there is no other series quite like it. Like a Dragon, or Yakuza as it used to be known, is about to drop the 9th game in the main series. Ichiban is back, and this time he's joining forces with none other than the Dogma dragon himself, Kiryu Kazuma, to explore Hawaii and perhaps have a bit of fun in the process. Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, took the franchise in a new direction with a turn-based JRPG instead of the traditional action game template. And Infinite Wealth is building off this very solid foundation while adding a whole host of new features and modes. The only problem I had with the last game was the difficulty spikes that forced player grinding. So if the devs can smooth that out, I have no doubt that Infinite Wealth will be an absolute winner.
And he's got plenty.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. What needs to be said about this hugely anticipated title? The first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake was a triumph in not only bringing the classic tale to a new audience, but showing what was actually possible when remaking a well-loved classic. It genuinely took the first game in a new direction, which could have backfired, but instead the gamble paid off in a spectacular way. That gamble looked to continue with Rebirth. The story is diverging even further from the original game, and there are a host of new mechanics making their way into the adventure. Normally this would be of concern, but with just how well Part 1 turned out, Square Enix has earned the faith of the gaming community. Rebirth is odds on to be another banger.
It is the very...
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. To say this game has gone through development hell is putting it lightly. The game struggled to come together until a development change and what from the outside at least appears to be a full reset. That said, the ship seems to have been righted, and it looks like we'll be finally getting Bloodlines 2 in 2024. This is a game that I have no confidence in, but am rooting for with all of my heart. The original Bloodlines was one of the best RPGs of the early 2000s, and the IP itself was one that has been tragically underserviced in the world of video games. The concept of competing vampire families living in society in secret is just so cool, and one that deserves a fantastic game to flesh it all out. So I have no faith that this game will be amazing, but boy, I really want it to be. We'll find out for sure when it finally drops, hopefully later this year. Dragon's Dogma 2. When Dragon's Dogma came out all those years ago, I don't think even Capcom could fathom the sort of cult hit it would become. But here we are, after many years, many re-releases, and many upgrades. Dragon's Dogma has become the sort of game that people obsess over. So it's safe to say that there is a huge amount of anticipation for the sequel, a game that will not only have to live up to the legacy of its well-loved predecessor, but also bring new players into the mix. For me, the original was good but not amazing. So many cool concepts, but I always found the controls and the UI just that little bit clunky. If the dev team can fix those issues, I have no doubt Dragon's Dogma 2 will break out from the cult hit status and graduate into full-blown mainstream success. Avowed. Obsidian has always been one of my favourite developers, and to say my hopes for Avowed are high would be an understatement. In the past, Obsidian's skill in crafting RPGs has always been held back by funding, but now, with the full support of Microsoft's bottomless pits of money, I feel like we're finally going to see this talented team reach their peak. Set in the same world as the fantastic Pillars of Eternity franchise, Avowed is going to be a story-focused RPG that's more in the vein of games like Knights of the Old Republic or Obsidian's own Outer Worlds, as opposed to a massive, time-consuming affair like Skyrim or Starfield. This is perfectly fine because of their many talents. Obsidian is best known for their excellent writing, so a game that focuses on that makes total sense. I can't wait to see more of this game and finally get my hands on an unshackled Obsidian experience. Thank you for joining us for another look at the games coming up in 2024. Did we miss any RPGs that should be on this list? Let us know in the comments. You can head over to player2.net.au to check out the written version of this article, and you can also check out all of our other stuff while you're there. News, reviews, previews, opinion pieces, podcasts, you name it, we've got it. Like and subscribe the video down below, and if you liked this video, maybe check out the one in the top left there. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Player 2. See ya.
infinite wealth.